Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson, as in Oscar.
I'm Larry Robinson, as in Robinson, as in Jackie Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson, and Swiss Family Robinson. And that's the way you spell your name. And that is it, that Robinson stuff, man. You know,
Robertson, that's the correct
See, that's
spelling.
the problem. People did not realize that people
R&R.
weren't taught how to spell.
People thought that R&R was for rest and relaxation. Did they?
Revelry and regard.
As opposed to Robinson and
Robertson. I like the way you put the Robin first because, you know,
because the I does not come before E. So technically, I gave you.
What's going on with you, man?
Everything's good, man. How are you?
I'm good. You watching anything good on the tube? Any good sports? Any good sports?
I'm keeping up with stuff.
What's jumped out to you? What's jumped out to you real quick?
Well, you know, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, right? Yeah. And there was a pretty critical game that came up between the University of Memphis. For those of you who may not know, Penny Hardaway, who is the coach of the University of Memphis, had the #1 recruiting class in America, or the free world as we know it.
Right.
And they proceeded to lose how many in a row? Four. Four in a row.
That's 4 games in a row.
4 in a row, losing to teams that they shouldn't
Murray
have lost
State, some real small schools.
And they were classic in terms of their look. It was a classic, what I call AAU look. Every man for himself and God for us all.
Absolutely. So let me ask you.
And they had a big game against Alabama, who was ranked number 8.
Number 6, I believe.
6 in America. And had to win, needed to win, did win.
Did Penny save his job? That's all I got to ask. From asking a Memphian that has a long history of the University of Memphis and its relationship with its coaches, was Penny's job on the line?
Suffice it to not hard and fast like that. You win, or you either win or you're out,
or you go home.
Win or you lose. Yeah, win or you lose your job. It wasn't that hard and fast. Howsoever, had he lost to Alabama, and you know, Memphis has an inferiority complex,
right?
So you can't just any chance you get to beat an SEC team. They should have beat Ole Miss,
right?
But anytime you get to beat a ranked, highly recognized program, in Memphis, you can make a name for yourself and have some longevity. So he needed
think Alabama
to win.
was a top program? Alabama just got out of the doldrums of Florida Allen. They hadn't had a team since Wimp Sanderson.
All you got to do, they
ain't had it since the dude used to wear the houndstooth coats and carrying on the bench. Alabama's not a real program. That's a football school. What you talking about? Man, listen, and that's what the word. That's the word I need you to. And you listen to this. Listen
#1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I've made up a word, and I want you to get it. Okay. Because whenever you start talking crazy, I'm gonna be like, "What the hell you talking about?" Talking about.
Okay.
What you talking about?
Right. No, they needed to win. There would have been a
listen.
Suffice it to say, there was going to be a bad misunderstanding.
I think Penny's job is severely on the line. I think literally winning
yet
NIT,
today still.
I think so. I do. I don't think. I think if things don't turn around and stay turned around, I think he's going to be in trouble.
Well, here's the good news. The good news is the players had a players only meeting, and obviously
led by freshmen, led by Jalen Duren.
Okay,
yeah,
who played like a beast. They were
That's a grown man. That's a
he's
grown man. That's a
man.
grown man.
They did a graphic on the on the screen at the game. This kid is 6'11" and has a 7'5" wingspan.
Yeah.
And they put him up there against Kevin
Now,
Durant.
I know you're getting excited, but listen,
Man.
we got to go to a break.
All right.
But on the other side of the break, we're
What's
going
gonna
to talk about another dude who looked like a man. Looked
Okay.
like a straight up
All right,
man.
all
I'm
right.
talking about the number one football player coming out of high school.
Is a real man.
Oh,
Is
boy,
a real
what
man.
you said.
We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
Yo, this your boy Chris Brown.
David West with the Golden State Warriors.
Hey, this is Dr. J,
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
and you're listening to a little R&R.
R&R on sports.
Riffin' on jazz.
So all the artists today must be ladies.
Must be.
Oh, my favorite.
You got a problem?
No, that's my
See,
favorite.
I knew.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kazookian Network.
R&R on Sports with Henry's Hall of Fame Barbershop.
Come on in here and welcome to Henry's Hall of Fame Barbershop. Now, what haircut would you like? Point to it. Point to it. Up there.
I'm in chair one.
Would y'all shut up? That's the number 12. Yes, sir. That's the Barry White. Baby, go on back there and get that lie for me.
Yes,
Sit on
sir.
down here. We gonna get your hair long and pretty. How y'all like that game the other night? Did it suit you? Did the outcome suit you? What you think?
That Carrie had got the worst hair of any good hair boy I ever seen in my
That
life.
boy talking about the main hair. He
Ain't
ain't
that-
talking about the main hair. He talking about his game. What?
All he need is
how much-
all Curry need is some Murrays. Curry needs
He
some
need a
Murrays.
wine silky.
Slick that stuff back in it, and it'd be a
Curry don't
beautiful
need
thing.
no Murray. He need the Duke.
Need the Duke.
The Duke.
They don't
That
do the
Duke
Duke
freeze
no
your
more.
hair up and make it go any way you want it to go.
Well, and speaking
I've been
of
in this
bad,
business for 40 years.
I got a little cousin that could braid Riley's hair.
speaking of bad hair, did y'all see LeBron James?
LeBron
What's the
James,
matter with his head?
He ain't got no hair.
He got tatter.
That that boy do need a stocking cap. I think he need him some Glover's Moon. That's what he needs.
Lover's Moon, boy.
Lover's Moon.
Lover's Moon.
Now I use his Glovers.
Glover's.
Glover's
That's
Moon.
the reason your hair look like it look
Glover's
today.
Maine, sir.
Maine.
It's Glover's Maine,
Oh,
sir.
that's right.
He got stitches
No,
in his
y'all
head.
both right. I uses the moon.
LeBron is losing his hair. And it will be gone forever.
He
if you put that
is
Glover's
watching.
range.
But
in
him
his
and
head.
that boy Stephen A. got the same barber.
He is washing more face these days.
And combing less hair.
Now, y'all do know who LeBron James' real daddy is.
the
That
boy that
Aloysius
is. Who
boy.
the
That
boy
Aloysius
Pappy?
boy.
No, that ain't Aloysius boy. No, that ain't. I know who daddy that is.
yeah.
It's Jesse's boy.
Jesse James?
Yeah.
No,
Isn't his daddy in the witness protection program?
not anymore. The boy's
What?
daddy. Now y'all listen to me now.
Well,
The boy's
come on.
daddy, LeBron James' daddy name is Rick.
Lord have mercy, boy, you just like
Rick James.
Don't put that on Rick.
Super freak.
Talking about
It's
coming here.
super freak.
I used to come in here with that
now.
white guy named Tanner.
That's right. That's his real daddy. A lot of people don't know that.
Rick James.
Is he biracial?
Biracial. No, Rick wasn't biracial. He liked women.
Blues in the basement.
Professor, you came up with this. I love this double dose. We're going to have the doctor, Dr. John, in the double dose.
Blues in the Basement. Get together, let the good time roll. Part of the Kazookian Network.
Back for more on sports. So
Dion making waves, baby.
absolutely.
Dion is prime time.
Prime
You should
time.
see him. You should
Tell
see
him.
him.
Tell him what.
If-
Don't assume they know anything. Tell him what he did.
Deion was able to.
Deion, we're talking Deion Sanders, head coach of the Jackson State
at Jackson
University
State
Tigers,
was able to sign the #1 recruit in the daggone high school football.
The number
Young man,
one across the board.
Travis Hunter. Man, looked like a grown man. And listen,
what position does he play?
He initially committed to Florida State, and then he decided that he was going to open his recruiting, and from that had a press conference. Started looking at hats, throwing the hats on the ground. Opened up his shirt. It said "Believe," and then rocked off with the daggone Jackson State paraphernalia.
What position does he play?
I think DB.
Yeah,
he's a DB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else would you go? Where else would you go if you were DB? Where in the world would you go besides being under the tutelage of Coach
answer
Prime?
to that was that a rhetorical question?
I was saying it as a rhetorical question.
Okay, no, I got an answer.
Go ahead.
You would go somewhere that ain't black, according to some people.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, well, Doug Gottlieb for one of them, and there's been a few of them that they hating this now.
What did Doug say?
He done ruffled a few feathers.
What did
saying
Doug
that the boy
say?
made a tremendous mistake and said that that it's like a CrossFit dude. The HBCUs are like CrossFit dude. You don't understand the benefits. I mean, it's just, you don't have the resources. He's made a horrible mistake. This is laughable. It's obvious. Mistake is hilarious. I mean, Doug Gottlieb had his fill of comments as it relates to HBCUs. So much so Stan Verrett of ESPN went in.
Should have gone in.
And I appreciate that.
Should have gone in.
Go ahead.
Because that's racism in its highest form. See, let me tell you. And this just has not started happening. There's very, very low regard for black people, black institutions, black organizations, anything black in America. Just saw it on The Voice. The other night.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is by choice of some Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. Doesn't matter how well you do and whatnot, they just will not cross that line and support you as an African American. And that thinking and that positioning and rationale and crap that you just heard from Doug Gottlieb.
You can't do this without us. You can't do this without us.
Absolutely.
You're gonna get a job if you want to get a job. We
gotta validate you. We gotta validate you.
You got the alumni of Florida State. What is wrong with you?
Exactly, man.
Man, isn't that
welcome to America?
Welcome.
But all the best, Travis Hunter. You made the best decision, brother.
Absolutely.
And you cannot learn how your craft from anybody better than the best. That's all I say about that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to transition into the Kang. I got a new Kang.
You got a new Kang?
A new Kang. His name, he a light-skinned Kang.
Mm-hmm.
He the baby face.
This is the time of the light skinned brother. Well, light skinned brother's cutting up.
Steph Curry, man.
Steph Curry, yeah, buddy.
Man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
broke
sir. Yes,
Ray
sir.
Allen's 3-point record. But you know what's more amazing to me? Did it in 500 less games.
That's a lot of games.
Man, 500 less games. Can you imagine where this record's going to be at the end of Steph Curry's career, barring any serious injury in the next couple of years?
Larry, that's what, 6 seasons?
Yeah.
They play 82 games.
82 games. It might be 100 if you go to the playoffs, but you're talking about
about
6 seasons just about.
That's 6 whole seasons fewer that he accomplished this.
Definitely 5, including the playoffs. Definitely 5 counting the playoffs. So ultimately, this cat is just shooting it up. But neither did Ray Allen have the ability to shoot 10, 12, 15 times a game. I saw the other day that Stephen Curry was like 5 for 15 from 3-point line. And I'm like, man, that's a horrible percentage. Well, it's 33%.
Green light.
30%, you know, it's like, man. So, you know, I'm like,
green light.
yeah, he got a
all the
ultraviolet.
time.
He got an ultraviolet green light.
Green light. Any time of the day or night, you want to shoot the ball, Steph, shoot that ball.
Shoot it long.
We got to run that again. Oh,
Shoot
my
it long,
goodness. Oh,
baby.
my goodness. Congratulations, Steph Curry. First thing he did it warm your heart to see that boy go over there and hug his daddy?
Absolutely. But did you notice that they put the mama way up in the stand?
Yeah. She was
I'm
having
like, wait a
moments.
minute,
She was up there, eyes red as ever. She was crying.
Yeah,
Eyes
man. I
up.
mean, you know, you got to think when Dale was on that road traveling and whatnot, guess who was getting them to all those basketball games and little league games? So shout out to Mama
Absolutely.
Curry as well.
Absolutely.
I wonder what it feels like to be the brother of the king of 3-point shooting for Seth Curry. I wonder how does he, you know, think about the fact that, you know, he's his big brother is now considered the greatest shooter of all time.
I mean, gotta be pride. I mean, you know, you can whatever you do, you can attribute to playing against the best every day.
Every day, man.
Every
That's
day.
the best brand
Say,
of
that's how I
basketball
did it.
ever.
That's how I did it.
Did you see all the people that were in the stands?
Oh yes. Oh
Well,
yes.
so what do
It
you?
was a
What do
who's
you,
who.
I mean, this happening in Madison Square Gardens. What does that mean to you? Why was that so aligned perfectly? And what would be different than it happening in Indianapolis?
I mean, I think it's only fitting. I think the good Lord knows what he's doing. He knows his work. We don't. We get it twisted. We act like we're in control of something. We are.
Interesting that you evoked the good Lord, because Steph Curry is known to be a very, very faithful and outspoken Christian.
Absolutely. And I think it is fitting, another major Madison Square Garden moment. And I was just so, because at the end of the day, it's no electricity like the electricity that's in that building. It's no feel. It's no spirit. You know, buildings have
Absolutely,
spirit.
man. Yeah, and I think Madison Square Garden just is just ideal for those amazing moments. I'm gonna do something that's gonna irritate you.
What?
Greatest impact on the game: Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry.
Greatest impact on the game: Michael Jordan.
All right, second.
Oh, don't make me do second and third. Okay, second, LeBron.
Really? Why you pick LeBron over Steph?
Because impact on the game. I think LeBron Steph has impacted the game, certainly.
Man,
I think especially now. But I think
Steph has totally changed basketball. He's made the 3-point a much more usable, easily utilized weapon in the game. And I don't think LeBron advanced the game much more over Mike, other than he did sharing the ball and all those things. But man, if you go to any gym in any high school, you are seeing kids pulling up from the damn logo,
wanting to be
Steph Curry. We wouldn't have a Trae Young without a Steph Curry. We wouldn't have a Damian Lillard without a Steph Curry. So as far as impact on the game, I would say Steph absolutely comes behind Mike.
I think it's premature at this stage because they are still impacting the game. So
absolutely,
let's have this conversation later. We've got a fantastic show for you.
We got a great guest.
We got a great guest. Old school, old time friend, older for you because y'all go back to Louisville,
brother, Louisville. Say it right now. Louisville.
We will be back with our special guest.
That's Louisville action.
Allen Houston, right after this.
Blues in the basement.
Professor, you came up with this. I love this double dose. We're going to have the Dr. John in the double dose.
I don't care if you're young or old. Blues in the basement. Get together, let the good time roll. Part of the Kentuckian Network.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports, and he's going to do, always. I mean, collateral, what they call it in the military or whatever, collateral damage.
There's nothing damaged about me, brother. Okay. I only add value.
Okay. All right, value add.
Hey,
all right, value add.
Don't hate, brother. See, man, you're supposed to congratulate. You like, you're on the
Congratulations,
second
Larry.
half. You're one of them old dudes.
Man, I got to introduce our very
Well, go
special
ahead and do
guest
that, man.
and great friend who goes back on this show with us to almost nearly day one.
Okay.
All right.
Well, go ahead.
I'm talking about the great former New York Nick.
But he even more so,
Now,
he's University
New York-
of Tennessee. University of
Okay, yeah,
Tennessee
that too.
alumnus.
You want to let me
He's a
do this?
graduate. Come on, man. Got his jersey retired on my birthday, March 6th.
Alan Houston, welcome back to R&R on Sports, my brother.
Man, it's
What's
so good
up,
to
man?
see y'all, man. Y'all looking good, man. You're looking good.
Well, one of us for sure.
We doing the
One
best.
of us for sure.
One of us is doing the best he can with what he got to work with, which ain't much. But anyway, thank you for the compliment, brother. I've been raised to thank people when they say something kind about.
Even when they lying. He wasn't talking
about
you.
you.
He
He's
wasn't
lying
talking
about you.
man.
He's known you. He don't have to lie to you or about you. How's everything, man? I want to get started. By I understand you were in the house some nights ago.
Yeah.
The house being the greatest sports house in the world, Madison Square Garden, when some history was made. Talk to us about that.
Well, first of all, going into the game, so it was kind of a mix for me because I'm still, currently in a development role with the team, with the Knicks. So I'm almost like I feel like almost as a player, because I'm with the guys every day. So I'm watching him against the Pacers like, okay, I would really like him to get this now, right? But as a pure basketball fan who has a high level of appreciation for shooting and a high level of appreciation for Madison Square Garden moments, you when you remove yourself in a way from the Knick, right? This being your home, you start to think, it would be fitting for this to happen in Madison Square Garden. And
Absolutely.
So the next thing I thought was, okay, it's only 2, so we can get this out of the way now and get the game going, and just get some energy release and, give us a chance to just have the best chance to get a much needed win. So the setting was kind of interesting because every year the NBA has this event where they host world ambassadors in this suite, and Adam Silver and Mark Tatum, who's our frat brother. Always got to throw that in there. Invited us up, and we were up there, and I'm talking to these foreign dignitaries from all over the world, and Dikembe Mutombo, who was a former teammate, briefly was up there, and we're talking. Game tips off, and I realized, okay, well, I'm probably not going to see this down in the normal seats where I'm sitting with like Knicks personnel and all this stuff. So I'm sitting up here, and then Dikembe, and then everybody starts getting their phone out, right? And everybody starts getting their phone out, so they want to catch it. So he touches a few times and makes a couple passes, misses one. And Dikembe's sitting up here, and it seems like this starts to happen in slow motion, right? Wow. So he holds his phone, drops his phone. He drops his phone under the table that he's sitting. And so it's like, oh yeah, I know what's about to happen. Lifts it down, right? And all of a sudden, Steph shoots, hits the 3, and Dikembe comes up and
he missed it.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So that was my moment. But it was such an electric night. It's just so magnetic. I mean, to see, something like that special. You think about Madison Square Garden moments. I was there when Melo hit his 62.
Okay.
Larry, we can appreciate, Muhammad Ali fighting there, being from Louisville. It's just, so I said, Adam, another historic moment. in Madison
Right.
Square Garden.
Right.
You know, and then it really would touch me. Obviously, was when he went over and hugged his dad.
His dad.
And I got
Yeah, man. I bet it did.
Yeah, he really touched me, man. Like, you know, I played against Dell, and I remember going to Dell's golf tournaments and seeing him and Seth riding around on the back of the cart, like just like normal little 10-year-old kids, you know.
Wow.
And it was just amazing, man. It's just
Little did you
amazing
know
moment.
that you were looking at the greatest shooter in the history of the game.
You don't know. That's why you never know. Like, you never know who you're gonna meet, who you're interacting with, young or old. You
Right.
don't. You know,
Right,
it's a whole
right.
other topic. But yeah, man, it's a special, and I have so much respect, you know, for another thing about it too is like when it comes to shooting, right? So how many debates have you all had about sports? Who's the top of all time? Who's the top five in your category? Who's this? And I feel like this is one of those things that you just don't ever debate. You can't even debate it.
Right.
This is undebatable.
It's
Listen, this is
undebatable.
Iron Iron Sports, and we're speaking with the
I'm a
great
you
shooter,
know what I mean?
Allen
So it's
Houston.
like you just so it was
Al, let me ask you this. This dude, Steph Curry, got this award or got this record in 500 less games than Ray Allen, who was recognized as the greatest shooter of all time up until this night recently.
Right.
How much of it is nature versus nurture? How much is it
Well, I think
him?
honestly, I think before you talk about that, you gotta talk about some technicalities because people will come up to me and was like, "Well, I wish you would have been able to shoot 12 times a game," you know? And, So like, I don't really look at it like that because every era is different. You know, I even think we need to stop doing this debate about MJ and LeBron. They're different players, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think that nature, like my son, I didn't even think about shooting NBA 3 when I was 9, 10 years old. I didn't even think about it.
Right.
Now, kids now are thinking about it. So when you think about something, you're going to try it.
Right.
Who would have tried to shoot 5 feet behind the line when we played? Nobody.
No one. That would have been a horrible shot.
The world evolves and expands. Your brain, sees different opportunities. And I think
And
that's
look
what
here, if you had, you wouldn't have done it for long because your butt be on the bench.
Right.
Because that was 20 years ago. Now they'd have
Right.
been like, no, you got to shoot more of those. Now, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you're right. You know what I mean? But it's like so much is relative. But that being said, man, he got 5 or 6 more years of this. Somebody gonna catch him.
Right. No, this is gonna be a record that's way out there.
How old is Steph? My wife asked me that. And I know he's early 30s.
Yeah, I think he's 33.
33. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably got about 5 or 6 years still left to play.
Oh yeah.
And
I remember when I was trying to come back. I was retired, and I asked 2 people. I asked Michael Jordan, MJ, and I asked Jeff Van Gundy, like, what are their thoughts? And Jeff's thing was, if you can get separation, you'll be fine. Because once you get it off with your height, you're good. But like, it's about the separation.
Right.
So as long as he can keep getting separation, he don't have to be
fine.
Jumping over people.
Well, I thank you for that because that was history, and I when I found out you were there, I wanted really our listeners to get the benefit of your perspective in witnessing history.
Hold on, quick question. Did you talk about it with your dad? Did coach get a chance to talk about it?
We haven't talked. We didn't really talk about that yet, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But I love when I just visited home, came back to Louisville and surprised my mother for her 75th birthday.
Wow.
And that was an amazing. But like every time I come home, it's so cool because we just start talking basketball. It's just like waking up, like you just start doing it. And then my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, played on the Final Four team at Georgia Tech. So now he's there and he trains and he coaches, and it's like we just get in the kitchen, man, and everybody just starts watching us and start talking about basketball.
Oh man! After all, it is indeed the family business. Is that correct?
Family business.
Yes.
part of it. I would say part of it.
Yeah.
It inspired it. I'll put it that way.
There you go. There you go.
Well, listen, we're gonna come back.
Got a lot to talk
with Alan.
about.
We got to talk about Fizzle. We got to talk about this new deal he has with the NBA. So listen, stay right there. We're gonna come back on R&R on Sports with me, the great one, Larry Robinson, and Alan Houston, and Howard.
No, don't mention me. It's okay. I'm just here.
Well, okay.
With headsets and a
we'll
mic.
be right back after this.
I love games, board games, comics, beautiful things that portray Black girls as soft and whimsical and cotton candy flowers. And so that is what I bring to the show, as well as cuss words for these raggedy when they need them.
Oh my
Such as this raggedy that we getting ready to introduce you to right now.
Oh my
this red
goodness.
fox looking,
Oh.
this bald head, confident talking about Richard Douglas Jones.
My goodness, this is the worst intro I've ever had in my life, ladies and gentlemen. Black Nerd Power on the Kadzukian Network.
Back for more R&R on Sports with our guest, Alan Houston.
Did you notice I didn't say it?
I was waiting on it too. There was something in me waiting on that.
You see, I should have gotten some kind of love for that.
What did you have to do to suppress your?
Well, it's just being able to control
compulsion
it's like Tourette's. It's controllable Tourette's.
It absolutely is
controllable Tourette's.
And he's got a thing about trying to sing high, Alan.
Like
Smokey.
Me and
or
Smokey
Eddie
Robinson,
Kendricks
man,
or somebody,
we
and it just doesn't work because he can't sing. He's very musical, but
did you do the
can't
"Can you
sing.
talk? Can we talk for a minute?" challenge? Did you hit it there?
Can we talk for a minute?
I was straight set up right there.
Straight, shameless. That was the Louisville thing, huh?
Nope, not at all.
Okay, all right. But I should have asked when you mentioned him, how is your father doing?
He's great, man. I mean, he's
Good.
just turned 77, man. He's just doing good, man. He's playing. He plays a lot of golf. Staying healthy and
Good.
fit, and
Good.
walking a lot. And it's just a blessing, man. You look at what's going on in the world, and
Absolutely.
and every day, man, I literally wake up and I'm just grateful. Keep having them being healthy and being able to see them and spend time. So I try anytime I can, man. I just try to be with them.
That's
Quick
great.
question before you leave that topic. When you were being recruited by the University of Louisville and Wade was the assistant coach there, top assistant, how long when he got the job at Tennessee before you knew you were going to Tennessee?
Well, first of all, I really,
because you signed with Louisville, right?
I did. So November 9th,
okay,
the day you could sign. I knew I was going to Louisville. I didn't even think about really it being recruited. Like I remember when I was a sophomore, how when you get your college gear, the players get their college gear and they might have a little name on it, like here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting stuff, then, and
oh wow.
And I already knew. So it was almost like I had to ask him, did he knew he was actually recruiting me, or he's just doing this for his son or what? But he probably don't even know which one it was. But by the time I was a senior, I knew how was I gonna go? Like Louisville was a top 5 program in the country during those times, and then
Right.
you're a top player. And Dad, he was so well respected. I would have coaches call the house and be like, "Look, I just have to make the call. Can we recruit you?" And I would say, "Nah, man, you know where I'm going." It would be very simple. But the one visit that I took one visit. Now think about that. You're a top 5 player in the country, and you're not taking any visits. I took one. You know where it was?
Where?
Louisville.
I had. Wait a minute. The same court that you learned how to walk on. The same court that you learned how to walk on. The same court that you've been raised on. You took an official visit.
It wasn't even about the court. It was about I get to stay in a hotel a weekend by myself.
Oh, that's what it was about.
And look. And here's the thing. And the other thing was Shaq took his visit that weekend. So my dad's
wow.
like, yo, we're gonna take our visit when Shaq comes, and try to see what we can do. But we didn't know he was going, eat.
You were already recruiting.
Listen, I mean, I knew where I was going. But what happened with Tennessee is the following April, he got the job at Tennessee. I had already signed with Louisville.
Right.
So I had to make an appeal to the NCAA to get out of my letter. And that's how I got to come to Tennessee with no penalty. And it was just a grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
Grace of God.
Wow. All right. Sorry about that. You want to ask a question now?
So I want to know this. We had discussion on this. What is you went to a PWI, if you will, predominantly white institution. Now that this young man, Travis Hunter, has committed, the top football player in the country, has committed to Jackson State University. What do you, as someone who is a graduate of a PWI and highly recruited college athlete, what do you think will be the future of HBCUs in terms of some kind of parity, even parity in perception? Because there's some people coming out now going, why would he do that? Oh Lord, da 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 da.
Right.
What's your perspective on that, real quickly? Because I know we got other stuff to talk about.
I mean, it comes down to resources to me. I mean, what Deion's doing is changing the landscape. He's changing.
Right.
I mean, it really is. And I think that was big. I mean, it was huge. Now, you saw the story about I think Lil Romeo leaving TSU because of resources and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm,
I think it comes down to that. Like, you think about it. If you're at a top, my daughter just visited University of Iowa for track, right? And some things that they said was like the resources and the gear and all the stuff they get.
Yeah,
Right.
stuff.
When you have those resources, it's like, it's hard to pass up those resources when you're a top level athlete. But I think what could happen is people will start to invest millions of dollars into those resources, building the facilities, apparel companies and all this. Maybe they will start to provide the resources, and the parity comes there. The reality is this kid is talented and he's going to make an impact no matter where he goes. And in basketball, I think it would be more impactful because, Damian Lillard went the 6th pick from Weber State.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's like, if you can play, you can play. Now, you as an athlete, you want to play on the highest stage against the highest competition. That's really what it comes down to. Like, you want to, if I can go to an Ivy League school or Harvard or Brown or whatever, then you got to think about that, right? Because that's what's going to challenge you and put you in the best possible challenging position you can be in. And that's something that you have to think about, right? But I think that, the more resources that can be poured into, the facilities and the opportunities and the access, then things could shift.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
This is Our Own Sports, and we're in the midst of an amazing conversation with the great Allan Houston of New York Knicks fame. So, Allan, when you think about what's happening with your life and your career, and now we got NIL and all this, let's kind of dovetail into what you're doing with your licensing, with your brand, and what is Fizzle.
Well, the thing that I love about where we are is you think about NIL, you think about NFT, you think about what's happening in the world. Like, a young person can truly imagine what they want to do, and there are physical, tangible ways where they can really realize that, right? And they can see, they can really call themselves a brand, not just from how many followers, but they can attach value to it now, and think about, like, if you're in any social circle, the most important person to these young people now is the person who has the biggest, social media following, not if you're the number one player in the country.
Right.
So I think what Fizzle to me represents is values, right? They're values that we live by, that we stand by, but values that can mean internal values and that mix with external values. So we tell
quickly tell them again what the Fizzle is an acronym for.
Fizzle is an acronym for faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, and legacy. And we basically call those the basic fundamentals of life. If you want to win in life, which we always challenge people at the beginning, what does that mean to you? What does winning in life even mean? Then you have to have a roadmap, a playbook. You have to have, a framework through which to see what winning is to you, so you can, measure yourself and add value. Like you said, add value at the beginning of the show. You said, no, I add value, and I really think that's what we want to do is use this external, product, experience, or service, which is what a brand really is, and say, well, how are you really living your life and how are you making an impact?
Now, how have you married that with this NBA relationship? Tell everybody about this relationship you guys have and what it means.
So we are basically a premium licensing apparel as it relates to our NBA partnership, right? When you see an NBA product, that mark means something. That logo means something. It means the best basketball in the world. That's what it really means. So if you have a product and you can put that NBA logo on it, then it's going to mean something. So we've been basically making fashion team apparel with the NBA and our Fizzle brand. And so our brand is a collaborative brand with the NBA. And fashion team means premium product, meaning, we're not going to do what Nike or other on-court does, right? We got models, all ages, and I'm not going to say in sizes, but we got,
got mannequins.
Yeah. But I think that what I've learned about it, man, is like where I think you were headed, Larry, is that branding is so dynamic now, right?
Right.
You have, Kazukin, you have R&R, you have sub brands. All these brands mean something. And for me to say, okay, a former player with the NBA, now you can be a partner with the NBA, 100% Black owned.
Right.
And I just like the story. Like I like the story because the name itself came from what I was poured into, the legacy that my parents poured into me. They were entrepreneurs, they were community leaders, and they're just great people. Right. So what we really do is we work with the NBA. So an example might be when a retailer like a Hibbett's or Fanatics says, hey, we really like what you're doing because you're different, you're separating, you're differentiating yourself in the marketplace because not a lot of people do team fashion like you do. Well, we're saying we don't want you to just like and put our product in your store. How can we use it to impact people in the community? How can we use it to bring internships to young people? How can we bring them into the creative process? How can we support them mentally, physically, emotionally, so that it becomes a full circle? And eventually my vision is that Fizzle becomes a valuable mark and license so that a young person may say, you know what, I have a brand, Alan. I have content, Alan. Can we partner with you and your Fizzle brand and create that type of model? And I think that's the next level. I mean, imagine if some of these athletes could do collaborative with these bigger brands where they have ownership and not just endorsements.
Well, check this out real quick. And I know we got to go, but Tom Brady just did some NIL deals with several quarterbacks across the country, Shedeur Sanders being one of them. Do you guys see Fizzle integrating into college and high school sports?
Yeah, we have a partner. We have a partners. We have ambassador program launching now. We have a club at the University of Michigan Ross School of Business.
Okay.
And we're launching ambassadorship clubs because, my goal is when you think about NIL, and I go back to NFT or whatever that value add is, NIL is, for athletes, right? Let's keep it
Right.
real.
Right.
Well, we know there are a lot of students on campus who have a lot of influence and have social impact, but why shouldn't they be able to participate in that type of framework and model just because they're not playing in front of 20,000 people, right? So my goal is to build that type of framework for NIL likeness, right?
Right.
Doesn't just live with a high profile athlete, but it lives with someone who just wants to make a big impact on the world and on the campus and on the community.
Well, listen, we gotta go, but
nah,
wait a minute, we're gonna bring Alan back. We're gonna bring Alan back because we got to talk about being honored by the MLK Award with the game
by the National Civil Rights Museum. So that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
Okay, we
No, go ahead.
For once, we are vibing. That's
Go
good. We want to have you back. We're not going to just rush into. You are going just as a promo for our listening audience. You are being awarded on the King holiday. And we want to talk about that and recognize that on another show so we can talk about this whole legacy and history thing in depth.
Right.
We can't pay it tribute appropriately now. So,
and hopefully we'll have him in studio and we can do it live.
That'd be
cool, all of us together.
Coolness.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Keep on fizzling.
Alan Houston. Alan Houston, former New York Knick, one of the baddest jump shooters in the history of the game.
From where?
Louisville, baby.
I knew you were going there.
I know you want it.
Great lead-in one. No, not
Don't you?
necessarily, but okay.
All right, then, everybody. We'll be right back after this.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, now I'm going to say my friend, Jonathan Capehart.
You came up and tapped me on my shoulder and you said, I'm a big fan. My name's Kirk Whalum. And I just about jumped out of my skin because I was like, wait, Kirk Whalum is saying hi to me? He's a fan of mine? Get out of here.
Humans Being with Kirk Whalum.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports as we head for the door.
See ya.
Well, I mean, you know what? I did talk about it, but I like that sweater. I'm gonna give you props on it.
It's called Sherpa.
Sherpa.
Yeah. Beautiful little thing here. You know,
is it a? It's not a hoodie. It's a sweatshirt.
No, it's not a hoodie, but it's got a little pocket in the front.
A hoodie kind of.
I mean, hey, but let me say this, man. Fizzle is. I'm gonna shout out my boy Al.
So they got all of the New York. Or they just have New York?
No, they got all kinds and all the teams. All the teams.
I'm speaking of the apparel that Larry Robinson walked up in here with today. Normally he looks crummy. Today is right.
Smoking,
it's
bro.
near decent.
Smoking, man.
Smoking, man.
Don't be hating on the brother, man. I'm smoking, bro.
All right. So my shout out go to last week. We talked about the passing of the great Atlanta Falcon Hall of Famer Claude Humphrey.
Absolutely, man.
I want to continue that further with some information for our listeners and a thank you to his family and friends and all of that. Claude Humphrey, as I understand, donated his brain to science for specifically the study of CTE because he suffered from it, obviously, and he wanted them to have the opportunity to study his brain and the effects of it to help others in the future.
Well, it's interesting because just to piggyback on that, we've had two former football players. One, I think, was guilty of murder, who actually has donated their brain, or they looked at their brain, and he was suffering from like stage 3, stage 4 CTE. Another kid was suffering from stage 2 CTE. So I believe as we have more and more players pass and donate their brains to be examined and looked at, I think we're going to find that CTE has had a greater impact than we probably realized initially.
Yeah, and I hope we find something toward treatment or
at least protection,
and good Lord willing, some kind of cure. But with that, we're going to take care of yourselves, take care of each other. This is R&R on Sports. I would be Halbert.
I'm Larry, and arrivederci.
Y'all take care.
Peace. You've been listening to a little R&R on sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.